Hello there and welcome back to another one of my videos. This is the second part of suspension and handling videos that I'm sure you're all going to really enjoy, and let's hope we can teach you something that you don't know. Right, so the first thing we're going to look at in this second part is the actual balance of the lambretta and ergonomics, the way you sit on it, your positioning, and how that affects how the bike handles and stuff like that. Now the lambretta itself is a little bit unbalanced because it's got the engine at the back, so that means it's quite light on the front. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take some measurements and we're going to weigh the bike. Take our first scale measurement and it's on 65 kilograms on the rear. So hopefully it's going to be a bit easier to lift it this time. Right, come on baby. And it's on, let's have a look, let's level it up. 40 kilograms on the front. So we're looking ergonomics. This is your position and the way everything fits when you're riding on a scooter. Now, you don't want to be sat at the back with straight arms. This is really bad because straight arms means you're steering with your shoulders. You don't get good feedback. You want to have slightly bent arms, so you're steering with your arms. It's so much better to get feedback from the bike and from the grip on the front wheel if you've got slightly bent arms. So sit in a good position, a little bit further forward than what you normally would. Try to avoid sitting at the back of the bike. The only time you sit at the back of the bike like that is when you're going for top speed, because you're trying to get aerodynamics and getting in behind the leg shields. But you're going to find that the front end's going to get light and it's going to start trying to wobble. So you can cure this with steering damper or adding extra weight. Right, so my lambretta's pretty much the average sort of scooter. It's not got any particularly strange stuff on it. It's got a rear carrier on there for the missus with a little backrest, but no tyre. So it's not much weight and it ain't going to make much difference. So what we had was, we took some measurements and we had 40 on the front and 65 on the rear. So other ways of reducing the rake is if you've got an adjustable length shocker, maybe put some offset engine mounts on there, engine cones, so you can get more clearance at the front of the motor. You can drop the back end down and create a more angled stance that will then turn the bike in quicker. So by extending the rear shocker, changing it and the rake of the forks, you'll get a much more aggressive steering response and you'll be able to go into corners quicker. There's always a trade-off. You can't get perfect handling because everything that you change in one direction is a trade-off on something else. So you set the bike up for how you want to ride. Right, rake also changes under braking. When you're braking hard, the suspension goes down on the front and you decrease rake, and it'll corner better. Riders that brake hard in a straight line, then release the brake before the corner, the front end then jumps up and the bike doesn't want to go around the corner so easy. You really should be braking up to the corner and into the corner with the brake on and slowly releasing off as you go to the apex. And once you've fully released off at the apex, then you roll the throttle on. Don't snatch it on. You roll the throttle on and power out the corner. Okay, another bit that we should take into consideration in this video is when I've just said you power out the corners, there's another adverse effect of the engine, that when you throttle on, the engine will pull the bike down at the back. It's an effect that the engine has when the transmission is driving, it tends to pull the engine down, and you create what's called squat. Sitting at the back will cause handlebars to shake and wobble, and it's not good. Sitting at the front steadies everything up and puts weight over the front end, and having weight over the front ends stops that from happening so much. Spare wheels at the back, bad idea. Spare wheel here at the front, good idea. These need to be a bit bigger so you can incorporate a bit thicker and a bit more substantial rubber into it. We've got a wheelbase on the Lambretta of 1 metre 290 millimetres from the contact point there to the contact point there. That's your wheelbase. Now, shorter wheelbases will turn into corners quicker, and a longer wheelbase will be more stable at higher speed. Now I know it's cooling much better, but summer's not here yet. So there's one more thing that I dislike that people do all the time on Lambrettas, is putting in a huge petrol tank with lots of liquid inside. Bad for handling. Right, you're probably wondering why I'm obsessed with the balance of the bike. Well, it's pretty straightforward, because like a motorcycle, it's balanced with the engine in the middle. So the centre of gravity is central. We've got the centre of gravity at the back, which makes the front end really light. Now, if the front end's light, you get not the correct feedback, you don't get the same traction, you don't get the same stability. So what you want to do is increase the front to create better stability over the front wheel, on the front wheel. Better traction, better stability. If you've got something light, it's easy to shake about because there's no resistance. It's light. That's like the front end of your chassis is light. It can move around and should be shaken around easily, so it becomes unstable. If it's like a Lambretta barrel and it's heavy, it resists movement. So it becomes a mass damper. Right, so this is the suspension setup part of the video. I'm doing this all in one video, so it's going to be quite long. So we're going to do suspension setup. Now, if you're going to do suspension setup and you're going to be doing this seriously, if you're just a normal rider or you're actually racing, the best thing to have is get yourself a book and take notes. Take notes of all the changes that you do, step by step, and then you can see the results and you've got a record. If you go too far, you can go back to what you had before because you've got it written down. So take notes. Okay, so down the rabbit hole we go. Now, I might not always get everything factually correct because most of my stuff I just ad lib as I go along. There's no script. I'll just say stuff. But I try to make it as accurate as possible. And if I don't know stuff, I'll go and research it. But in the last episode, we mentioned about rebound, and I was like, does this shocker only have rebound and no compression, as I suspect? But the only way to find out is to strip a BGM down and check it all. Then we're 100% sure what we've got. But first of all, I've stripped down this Escort shock that was available. So I've removed the spring, bip bip bim, and we've now accessed the shaft. Right, so I found with this one, it's an Escort shocker, but it's obviously got the plates inside that flex and allow and gauges the oil that passes, but it's only in one direction. So that means this damper only works on rebound. It's got nothing on compression side. because it just goes straight down. Just like your front dampers, standard front dampers do the same. But it's got resistance coming back. Now this one's a bit knackered because it's leaked a bit. So therefore that first little bit that moves is just where it's got air inside and stuff. But once the oil starts passing, there you go, it's got some resistance. So this Escort shock only delivers rebound, fixed rebound gauged by these metering plates inside. So is the BGM the same, or does it have compression and rebound? And does the adjuster do compression and rebound, or does it only do rebound? Right, so I've rigged up a contraption to get my spring apart. Now on this side I'm using your basic ratchet strap, which I'm putting around like this, and then I've made a sort of a makeshift tool. I should really make a proper spring compressing tool. If I get some materials, I'll be able to do it. But in the meantime, we're going to just go like this with this makeshift jobby. So we can, got a little bit of pressure on that side. Now on this side of the spring, I've made this tool to hold it. So that's going to go in here, and then it's going to just wind the spring down. But unfortunately I need to hold it in position. I might even put a bit of tape on here yet, just to protect my spring. Tape. Right, this is how it fits. It goes on with a bit of tape, but it's got a tendency to want to pop out. So this is going to hold it in position while I crank it down on the bottom. And it's out. Gently does it. Lovely jubbly. The spring can be removed. And we've got our shocker. Good thing is I can clean this now as well. That's a bonus. When it's all apart, you can do a better cleaning job of it. But now we can see how this works. Put some light on the situation, shall we? Dun dun dun. Let's do it fully one way. That's fully hard. Oh dear. That's rebound. But the compression, that's full on rebound, but compression, it ain't got any. So all it does is control rebound. It's not rebound and compression, which I didn't think it was. That's why I put in my video, it's rebound. It's actually rebound, because there's the rebound on hard. It's super hard, but no compression control. So the only compression you've got is from your spring itself. So now we've verified that this shocker works exactly the same as this one. We've only got rebound control, but it has got an adjustment here for the amount of rebound. There we go. But what it doesn't do is compression, because if you put it on full, it just goes straight down. Okay, but it look at that, how it controls the rebound. And as you just turn it off, releasing it, the quicker it comes back, the quicker it comes back, the quicker it comes back, and that's it. Rebound. Right, I can give my spring and everything, my internals, a bit of TLC. It protects it from a bit of corrosion. I've already sprayed some ACF 50 into the threads, so that'll protect them. I've cleaned all around and I've just used some normal household polish on the rest of it. So the rest of it's just got normal polish on everything, and then a little bit of a wipe off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do my spring with ACF 50, because the inside of the spring is never easy to get to when you're cleaning, when it's all together. So a little bit of protection on the inside of that is going to save it from corrosion and what have you, and yeah, it'll prolong its life. So that's better. That's all nice and clean on the inside now. Oh yeah. Right, so before we put this back together, I'm going to do the measurements of the spring. Now it's not compressed at all, because before it will be under some preload, so you couldn't measure it properly. Now I can measure the spring, I can measure the windings, how thick they are, I can measure the length, I can measure the internal and external diameter. Right, let's have a look at it. So we're looking at 180 mil in length. Outside diameter is 60 mil. Inside diameter is, let's have a look, see. Better with my vernier. Vernier, 46 mil. So let's write all this down before we go anywhere. ID 46 millimeters. OD is 63 millimeters, and the length was 180. Right, we've now got some information down already into our book. As you can see, we'll get some information as we go along. We've got the internal diameter, we've got the outside diameter, and we've got the length written down now, and we've got the spring rating also down. So now we need to get all the other stuff in, so to fill in, so we've got a good record of all our settings, so we can carry on with the settings. Okay, before we do anything, we need to be in the same attire, the same clothes as what you are when you normally ride the bike. So if it's a leather jacket and a crash helmet and gloves and boots and jeans or whatever, that's what you should be wearing when you sit on the bike to check the sag. Okay, if it's full race leathers and helmet and gloves and boots, then that's what you've got to be in. Or in my case, it's t-shirt and a pair of shorts and flip-flops. Okay, step one is our rear suspension. So we've set up a rule here, so we've got measuring from the very bottom edge of the spring here, with it now just normal, sat on the stand, and shocker at full extent. So now the first thing we have to do is take it off the stand and let the bike sit on its own weight. So what you need to do is just give it a little lift and drop. So when it drops, you've got your measurement for your sag there. You'll be able to lift it up and you'll be able to see how much it actually moves to full extent to unladen sag. So we want about 6 mil, and at the moment we're on 8 millimeters. So we've got no preload on at the moment. So now we need to adjust the preload because we've got too much sag unladen. So we'll wind it down. It's easy to wind, you can wind it by hand, you don't need to use the tool until it gets further down. So we're going to put on 10 mil of preload. First setup, 10 mil of preload, a bit more. Till we get, okay, we're there. Almost. Bang on. Right, we've got 10 mil of preload now on the spring. Right, yeah, that's good. So take it off and see what we've got. So with 10 mil, now I've got 4 mil of unladen sag. So it's got 4 mil, which is not much, but it's just that little bit. So we've gone a bit too far. And we want to have 6 mil of sag without a rider on it. And we're now on 5 mil. We're getting there. 1 millimeter more, so we're going to go to 7 mil on the preload and go 7 mil. Okay, back on again. Okay, right, back off. And there we have it, 6 mil of sag. 6 mil of sag. So that's without a rider on, we've got 6 mil unladen sag. Right, so when we go back on again now, it's going to be a loaded sag. So I'll now take the bike off the stand, sit on the bike with my normal attire, which is t-shirt and shorts, and measure my sag, which should be 3 times the original sag. So we're looking at 18 mil. So I'm sat in the normal position I'm going to be sitting in. And that should be now 18 mil, I hope. We've gone back to the 10 mil preload again with the 4 millimeters of unladen sag. So we're going to now check what our laden sag is with me on top, and I'm hoping to get closer to around 18, between 15 and 18 mil is probably where we want to be. So it was a bit too soft. now we should be more or less in the ballpark, I would say. Hopefully that's about right. Right, as you can see, just setting up the sag on the rear shock of a Lambretta is not so straightforward as some people think. It can take a little bit of time to get where you want to be. So you've got to have some unladen sag. So if you go over some bumps and your arse leaves the saddle, the bike tops out where it shouldn't. The bike should still rise a little bit and keep in contact with the ground. Okay, I've tried to keep it as simple as possible and not go crazy on stuff, but it is a bit of a kerfuffle to set things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you sort of ballpark figures of where you want to be for different weights. So what I've got at the moment, see, I've actually put on 5 kilos, so everything's changed for me. So I'm now all this is readjusted from 4 years ago because I've put weight on. So now things are slightly different. Right, we're getting to the end of this setup now on the rear suspension. So all we're going to do now is set up the damper, the rebound. Obviously, because we can't set up any compression because it doesn't have any. Right, okay, this is your damper rebound setting. So we want to go all the way towards the soft way, so it's like all the way to 0, and then click it 20 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 20. Right, we're gonna take it off the stand and check, see how it responds. Perfect. And I think that's pretty much it. It's pretty good. If you want to get it any better, you need to go out, test drive, and literally go over some bumps and see how it responds, see how it handles. But that is basically where we're at. 20 clicks, it's perfect. I reckon if you're 2 up, you want to maybe go to 25 and 20 on the spring. Right, I had considered on the setup putting all my gear on with the race boots and the leathers and the helmet and gloves and everything, but as it is at the moment in here, 29 degrees Celsius, I decided not to bother. So see you all later, enjoy your riding. Hello there and welcome back to another one of my videos. Well, I've had a few little issues with my BGM shock, which has served me quite well. I've been on there 4 years, but now both the bushes, the silent blocks in the top and bottom, have just collapsed. The rubber's just split and it's all over the place, and that just increases vibration when you're riding the bike, because that rubber on the shocker takes out vibration from the engine through the frame. So we're going to replace them today. Right, well I'll have a offer it up and you can kind of see how bad things have got. There's not much of the rubber left, top and bottom. I don't think they're going to take much pushing out. I could probably push them practically out with my fingers, maybe. So we'll get these old ones out and then have a look at fitting in these new ones that I've got from BGM. Right, so what I'm going to use is, I've got a couple of sockets, one smaller one to fit on the bush and push it through, and another one on the back so it allows it to fall in. So we'll just whack it in the vise. See if we can get it to fit. Probably could make a tool for this. Oh, it's just falling out. Look at that. Didn't even need any force to get it out. So that's what's left. It's just collapsed on one side. So as the shock is impacting like this, it's just destroying the bottom part of the rubber. It's just not man enough, is it? I think maybe you need to redesign this part of your shocker, BGM. These need to be a bit bigger so you can incorporate a bit thicker and a bit more substantial rubber into it. Or look for a different compound. Let's pray this is a bit better. Oh, there's not much left of that, is there? So we're just bouncing off metal. That is so poor. Well, I wonder if Kickback Garage, when he told them to redesign their shocker, I wonder if he got this upgraded. Bro, have another word with him. Right, so when we're fitting these new rubber silent blocks in here, we don't want to be fitting them dry because that's going to probably damage them. So we've got to fit them with some form of lubricant. So we're going to go with the old trick of some soapy water, because the soapy water is going to lubricate it, but then when it dries out, it's not going to act as a lubricant, it'll simply dry off. So then your bushes ain't going to slip around inside the arm. So we're going with soapy water, kind of thing you'd use on your grips when you're fitting grips. Bit of soapy water, once it's dried out, then your grips go and grip again. So soapy water, and we're just going to press them in. Oh yeah, that's definitely the way, because it flies in there so easy with the lubricant. Right, we'll put a socket on the back now so we can get it all the way in. A bit more. Oh, so everything's a little bit too slippy. Dropped again. Will you stop doing that? Right. That's it. Okay, that's in sweet. So that's pressed in nicely. Lips come out on both ends. Let's do the other one. that's it. They're in there. Hopefully that'll dry out and it'll be good. Well, they've dried out a bit. We'll put a little bit of grease on that. I think somebody messaged me once, what grease do I use? And this is what I use. Corrosion block. It's exceptionally good at stopping corrosion, and it also is really good bearing lubricant. It's got a lot of additives in, aircraft quality, really good. A little dab of that on there. In fact, before I refit this, I'm just going to jack it up a little bit more, because I think I can get a bit more on it. Or can I? No, I can't. Can't, it's max. That's as far as it's going to go. Well, I've got Jet 200 casings in this, so because there's more meat around the transfer ports on the Jet casings, but it gives me I've got a wider lug on the back here, so I have to put a bit of shimming on it and a spacer. Oh, hang on. Washer. Probably saying, hey, why aren't you using the torque wrench? Come on, get a life. When it's tight and you know it. Right, it's been a while since I did this engine block cooling bit that I've fitted onto the engine mounts. It actually takes some heat away from the engine, because engine blocks get really hot. People don't understand that the engine just absorbs the heat from the cylinder head and the barrel straight down through the casing, just heats the casing up till it gets so hot it's absorbed loads and loads of heat, and then you start loosening off threads. It starts to break up your lubrication, so your lubrication breaks down because your gearbox oil is so piss thin because the temperature is so high. It's like heat makes a big difference on reliability for engines. So last time I fitted this, I put an extra strip, heat strip, on the casing here, and I can see already that there's a huge difference of like 20 degrees. So I'm not saying it's all this, but because I've done other things as well. My engine cooling, I've been going through a progression of adding to it to improve the engine cooling. And now I know it's cooling much better, but summer's not here yet. So later on in another video, we'll have another look at that and see what kind of temperatures we get up to, because we can see where we were before, and now on the new strip, let's see what the summer brings. So when it comes to cooling, you have a look around my engine. I'm running a MMW fan on my vape ignition with a center cone in it. These are my cowlings with a venturi on them to help flow extra air into them. I've got this heat sink on the engine mount. I've yet to make one for the other side, basically because I'm very lazy. Fiberglass head cowling with a bigger cutaway on this side to help air exiting. In the future, I'm planning on another frame, not on this one because this is a nice innocenti one, is to incorporate an air ram into the chassis that blows air over the engine. So videos go on and on. It's surprising. People must think that, hell, You can't just keep buying stuff and bolting it on and showing stuff. Oh, you bolt this on and you do that and you do the other, because you're going to run out of money. So I like to do things that are interesting and stuff that I can just play with and mess with and get into, you see. And that, I think, is more interesting for people to watch. So that's where my channel goes, in that direction. I like to develop stuff, innovate stuff, make stuff. It's what keeps me going. So the channel will be never ending, because I've always got a new idea. You know, I'll get my ideas when I'm in bed a lot of the time. I don't know what happens to you. First thing in the morning, you're just dozing away and go, ooh, I wonder if I could do that. That's just popped in my head. It's one of them hours of the day. First thing early in the morning when you're sort of snoozing and little things pop in your head. Weird. Ouch. Oh. Honest.